Welcome, everyone. I'm Max Rodriguez, founder of the Harlem Book Fair and publisher of QBR, the Black Book Review. Today, we have the honor of speaking with author Edwina Dorch. She is the author of The Artist and Her Lover. Edwina, welcome to our interview. So, you've written this book. It's a wonderful story, and I'll tell you what I like about it. It simply intrigues me. It has every element of a book that I would need to keep me company, to entertain me. It has a great storyline. It has love and romance. It has art. It has culture. It has politics. It has a storyline, and the storyline has a background. It has depth, and in front of that, in the foreground, is this great story of this woman who is in a search, I say, for herself in so many ways. Tell us about the story, Edwina.
I moved to Florida maybe 5 years ago. And when I moved in, my neighbor across the street um, is a potter. I'm a painter and she's a potter. So we became fast friends. But one of the first stories she told me was about the highwaymen. And I don't know that most people know about the highwaymen. Do you know about the highwaymen down here in Florida, Max?
I do not, and I think you should tell us.
The Highwaymen was a group of 26 painters, and they're called the Highwaymen, but they one of them was a woman, and they were all black. But they were painting in the late 60s, early 70s. And they did not here in Florida allow the artwork for Black Americans to be put in museums or galleries, or even in outside festivals, art festivals. So we were pretty much locked out in the late 60s and early 70s. And so what this group of Black painters did is they painted during the week and they sold on the weekend, and they sold from the trunk of their cars. And like I say, they say there were 20, it's called the Highwaymen, but there was one woman. And I feel like I have her legacy because when I came to Florida, I am allowed into the galleries, but I wanted to tell that story, what my heritage is, and how art here in Florida by Black Americans is sort of different than it was in the 60s and the 70s. And so she starts here in Florida, but she actually goes to Jamaica. And Jamaica has a heritage called intuitive art. And intuitive art is really much like the artwork by Black Americans here called naive art. And naive art is art by artists who aren't trained in fine arts schools, but they just have sort of a natural talent. Um, and so I wanted to tell this similarity between artwork here in Florida and that artwork that's intuitive artwork in Jamaica. And so she goes to Jamaica, but she has this heritage here of the highwaymen.
And within all of that, there is relationship. There
Yeah.
is there is attraction.
He gets
Uh,
involved
there,
with a Rastafarian, and Rastafarians have a different way of being. And so he teaches her to appreciate art in a different way than she's used to, and to not make art a capitalist endeavor. I don't want to get too political, but that's sort of the lesson that he gives to her.
you're giving me the grounding for the story, and I love that. Tell me about the spice.
Telling about this. The spice people will have to read to get the spice, because towards the end there is some spice. Um, but all I will say is that there is spice, and there is a love triangle. That's part of the spice.
Now we're
Uh,
talking. Now we're talking.
so the love triangle, when she gets to Jamaica, the Rastafarian is the person that greets her, and he is the bus driver for the tour company that's she's with. But there's also a person who is the National Geographic marine photographer, and she gets involved with them both at the same time. And I don't know, Max, is that what you were
No,
referring to?
we're
By
going we're going on the exact right path. That's right, because here it is, the art, the culture, and even the politics, uh, but also this very woman of presence, who has a vision for herself, and is absolutely inquisitive, and open to seeing more. And that's what sort of, just kind of pulled me into the story, as I think it will the readers of the book. Can you tell me what inspired you? What inspired the story? Was there an idea or a actual, is this book biographical?
some of it's autobiographical. As I say, I live here in Florida. I live on a barrier island, and for those of you who don't know what a barrier island is that along the Atlantic coast is a strip of land, and that strip of land blocks storms that are coming in over the Atlantic. And so we block. The mainland isn't so crushed by hurricanes because we're the block. Uh, and that's why we're called a barrier to the mainland. And so I live in Florida. I live on an island. I have this heritage. Uh, Route 100 is the highway that they painted along, and so that's where I am.
It sounds both romantic and very dangerous. You're the barrier island that sort of protects the mainland um, from the
Hurricanes,
ravages of a hurricane.
we are, we are.
It just sounds
But
lovely too.
but hurricanes don't come all the time. And so every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm down at the beach. There's nobody there but me because it's private property. Nobody else can come. So, my Black Americans are usually thought of as being in the inner city. Here, there is no building over 3 stories. And so I wanted to tell this story about a Black American female that has this type of experience and this type of heritage from the highwaymen.
That's why I love the work that I do, that we do, you as writer, me as, as promoter of good writing. We get to tell our stories in our myriad of existences. We are projected however we projected, but these corners of the world, these sides of the world, these places where we breathe, are not told as stories. So I'm so happy that you've written your book. This is not your
Well,
first book.
part two, we will find her in the Sahara Desert, and she will again have a love triangle, and it will be with a Berber, and Berbers are Arabs, and here in the United States we think of Arabs as Caucasians, but Caucasians is a word. It's from the 18th century. It was by a German person. He was an anthropologist, but he made hierarchies of human beings. And so we don't even, in the United States, an Arab person might check the box of being Caucasian, but we know that in Africa, you would not be able to so clearly define what his heritage were. And down in southern Sahara, they decide, in Africa, if you're an Arab, you talk about yourself as Egyptian or Palestinian or a myriad of things. You don't really refer to yourself as a Caucasian. Only in the United States would we do such a thing.
And again, this is why I love your writing because you give us context. You not only give us context, but you also give us a history, whether it's direct or implied. This is again what I enjoy about your writing is that it's nuanced and dimensional in so many ways, along with a little spice. Having read your book, what will we have gotten out of it? Why, other than what I think is a sense of satisfaction and time well spent, given any number of books that one can read at any moment? What will a reader have gotten from having read your book, other than a desire to read your next one?
I think they will get an appreciation for art. Um, you know, to tie art to romance might seem like a stretch, but I think the book also highlights music. Music in the United States is a little bit different than music in Jamaica. And it's going to be even different. You're going to hear that Arab influence in the next book. And then from there, the third book, it's a trilogy. We will meet her in French Guiana, which is 40% Black. African Black. You're going to be, I want you to know what love is like in all of these countries for Black Americans. And it's political and it's artistic and it's musical.
I love it. I love it. Who we are and the way we love.
Yep, yep.
And is there anything else that you'd like to share in closing? Is there anything else that you'd like to share about the book, about your life, about your writing? Let me ask you one more question before we leave. Do you have a writing style? I was speaking not too long ago with the author Walter Mosley, and he said, I asked him the same question, and he said, I get up, I start writing at 6, I write straight through until 9 o'clock. I do this every day, but I'm done at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I'm done with writing. Do you have a schedule or a structure to your writing, or is it when the idea hits you?
I write every day. I'm pretty disciplined like that. Um, I start at the end of books because you can push yourself through a book, or you can be pulled by the end of the
Hmm.
book. You know where you're going. It's pulling you towards the end. I would say in terms of style, I'm kind of sort of literary, but I want readers, and so I will put myself in romance category and not be totally academic and literary. But you can see that history and art and music come through my work. And that's why it would seem a little bit literary and not so completely within a genre.
I think that's a very nice balance. I like the idea that when the book pulls you from the end out, it pulls the reader from the out in. So
Ah,
it's nice, and I think that you really that comes through very subtly in how the pages sort of turn for you as you move on through the story. Edwina, where can our listeners, our readers, find you?
at Jeff Bezos' house at Amazon. um, Praise God, poor thing. Yeah. Oh, you can go to Amazon. Um, Sad to say.
Okay, so on Amazon, is there a Edwina Dorch website, perhaps?
Yes, there also is a edwinaldorch.com. There you will find videos of each book. There's scripts for those books. I do plays with those books, the YA book and the children's book. But right now I'm into this trilogy and pushing on from being in Africa to being in the West Indies in the islands.
And you also include a Q&A of sorts for book clubs in your book.
In every book is a book club Q&A.
Great story, and I like the thoroughness. And for you writers out there, pick up the book simply as a model of how to frame out your story. The book, is a product in the marketplace. I love the romance of books, but it's also a product in the marketplace. And when you read this book format, it tells you everything that you know. Literally, the book feeds your curiosity. And we can't ask more than that from a book. And the artist and her lover, I think, does that, which is why we've asked Edwina to join us. Thank you, Edwina, for a few
Thank
minutes of your
you.
time. I look forward to the next parts of the trilogy. We'll be talking about them more, I'm sure. Thank you, listeners, readers, for joining us today. I'm Max Rodriguez. Our author today is Edwina L. Dorch, and we'll see you at the next book. Thank you.